Hello guys, and welcome to all those training to become Super Saiyans, and welcome to Revolution. So I've been promising this verse battle for quite a while now. I was initially holding off to see if I could get some more info on Ultimate Gohan and his new acquired power in Dragon Ball Super, but we haven't got it. So I'll be using Gohan's fight against his father Goku in episode 90 as a barometer for his power, as well as Goku Black's fight with Future Trunks in his Super Saiyan Rage, Akari, Fury, whatever you want to call it, fight to use as a barometer for Future Trunks. Now, for those of you who have seen my verse battles in the past, I don't just base these battles purely on power levels. Sure, power levels do play a large part in the eventual outcome, but I believe there is more in play that does actually decide the outcome of the battle. And what I do is use 5 categories to decide the eventual winner, and those categories are rolling on your screen as of right now. So, let's get started. Ultimate Gohan vs Super Saiyan Rage, Future Trunks. So, Future Trunks is the Saiyan and Earthling hybrid son of Vegeta and Bulma from an alternate future. He's well-mannered, serious and very cautious. He first shows up in Dragon Ball Z, coming back to the past to gain the help of the Z Warriors, as his own future has been pretty much wrecked by Android 17 and 18. He absolutely dices up Frieza and shows that he is the second Super Saiyan to appear in the Dragon Ball franchise. After Super Saiyan 2 Gohan defeats Cell, Future Trunks returns to his timeline and we believe he is living in peace. But in Dragon Ball Super, he returns yet again to gain help from the Z Warriors, and this time he is fighting Goku Black. We learn that he has been training under the Supreme Kai Shin, has defeated Deborah, and ultimately also has the Super Saiyan 2 form. We see him partake in a little duel with Goku, as he did back when he first arrived on Earth when he took on Super Saiyan Goku, but this time he comes up against Super Saiyan 3 Goku and gets one-shotted, only for him to head back into the future with his father Vegeta and Goku to take on this mysterious Goku Black. Now it's Trunks fights with Goku Black, which really allows us to scale where Future Trunks is at in terms of power level. And I think Goku Black in his Rose form is the barometer for where we scale Goku in relation to Gohan as well as his relation to Future Trunks. So Goku Black in his Rose form pretty much decimates Vegeta on first arrival and then decimates Goku. He even decimates an enraged Goku who has just learned that Goku Black killed Chi-Chi and his son Goten. In the first fight, you could argue that Vegeta was taken by surprise, but Goku wasn't taken by surprise. Goku knew exactly who he was up against. However, what is happening is Goku Black keeps receiving Zenkai boosts, whereas Vegeta and Goku's Zenkai boosts have literally minimalized because of how many they've received over the years. But these two decimations end up in Future Trunks erupting, and what a transformation it was. This was one of the most epic moments to happen in Dragon Ball Super. We see Trunks unveil his Super Saiyan Akari form, which basically has an aura of a Super Saiyan as well as some of the blue ki that, even though not confirmed, surely must be God ki. After all, it does resemble the ki flow we saw in the Super Saiyan God ritual, as well as the blue ki in this transformation looks extremely like the Super Saiyan Blue transformation. Maybe he picked it up from Vegeta and isn't fully aware of how to tap into it completely yet. Anyway, Trunks goes mad and goes for Goku Black, seemingly trading blows with Goku Black. Now, what I argue here is that Goku Black was taken aback by the power increase that Trunks had just got. And yes, Trunks lands a few blows, he even lands some big blows. But ultimately what happens in the end is as soon as Goku Black tanks Heat Dome attack from Future Trunks and then proceed to literally dominate the fight to ultimately knock Vegeta out of his blue form, and then Trunks then goes to proceed to tell Goku and Vegeta to return to the past to find a way to defeat Goku Black and Future Zamasu. Now, it's this courage from Trunks that I believe causes a bit of misconception. People seem to think that Future Trunks took Future Zamasu and Goku Black head on and literally was at that kind of power level, when actually in reality the next thing we see is Trunks lying in a bed, passed out. And upon returning to the past, when Goku and Vegeta are talking to the Z Warriors, They cite quite often that it's the teamwork between Goku Black and Zamasu that is causing the real problem, that they cannot stop their perfect teamwork because they are the same being. And it's because of that, this is why Piccolo suggests using the Mafuba to trap one of them so they can take on the other one in a fair fight. And after healing from his attack and Mai stupidly going to attack Goku Black, Future Trunks has to go and save her and hits Goku Black with an immense Gallic gun. Now, for a few moments there, you are under the impression that Trunks has defeated Goku Black. But what you see after is a Trunks that is so exhausted from the amount of effort he just put into that attack. He is literally being hit by Future Zamasu. He then states that he only has enough ki left for one attack, and basically he goes for the final explosion to take out the immortal Future Zamasu. And in that moment, Goku Black returns and stabs Future Trunks through the gut. Now, it was a sneak attack, but as you can see, Goku Black is still in his Rose form. He hasn't been knocked out of it, and then he even goes on to mock Trunks, telling him that was a good attack. It might even give him a bruise. And upon returning back to the future, Vegeta Blue decimates Goku Black, literally pulverizes Goku Black and shit stomps him. Now, it seems like I'm downplaying Trunks. I don't want to take away from his achievement of unlocking this form and taking on Goku Black. He traded blows with Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. Maybe Black was taken by surprise, but it's still an enormous fiat to be able to do that in the first place. And when it comes to later on, I want you to remember the fact that Trunks traded blows with Goku Black Rose when it comes to scaling Gohan. Ultimately though, what I perceived from this fight is that Future Trunks attained a new power level to be able to compete with these god tier characters, but he probably didn't have the power to take Goku Black out in his Rose form. Now, there's probably a few of you sitting there thinking, well, didn't he kill Merged Zamasu? Well, Merged Zamasu pretty much had one health point left when Future Trunks went to take him out with that Spirit Sword attack. Not only was Merged Zamasu's body disintegrating because it was an imbalanced fusion, he took a father-son Gallic gun, which ultimately sent his own holy wrath back in his face. He took a Kamehameha from Goku, which ultimately sent another holy wrath back in his face. He then took a huge roundhouse kick to the face by Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. Then took a pounding by Vegito Blue and even a final Kamehameha. So, Merged Zamasu took a beating before Trunks ultimately got that ass-pull Spirit Sword attack and sliced him in half. So I think it's unreasonable to use Future Trunks vs Merged Zamasu as an outlier, and I think the fact he literally took Goku Black head on and traded blows was more of an outlier for where Future Trunks Super Saiyan Rage power actually is. Now, in terms of fighting ability, Trunks is a warrior. He is a master swordsman, and he has been trained by the likes of Future Gohan, Vegeta and the Supreme Kai. He has constantly come under attack and felt that he has had to defend his planet. And for a large part of that, he's had to do it on his own. He is mentally extremely strong. He is the very definition of a Saiyan warrior. And Vegeta, despite not showing it outwardly, internally, he must be extremely proud of his son. Future Trunks has an incredible moveset. He literally had a great range of moves in his arsenal from Dragon Ball Z, including the Buster Cannon, the Heat Dome attack, and the Burning attack. And in Dragon Ball Super, he literally learns any attack he sees. We find out he knows the Gallic gun, the Mafuba, and even the Genki Dama. Somehow he turned his sword into a Genki Dama sword. That is literally next level Genki Dama. He's pretty much the Majin Buu of learning attacks. He is a prodigy when it comes to just learning attacks. He learned the Mafuba by watching it on a phone. So with that all being said about Future Trunks, it's time to move on to the other Saiyan son, the son of Son Goku, Son Gohan. So, Son Gohan is the elder son of the series' primary protagonist, Goku, and his wife Chi-Chi. The older brother of Goten, the husband of Videl, and father to Pan. Gohan is the first hybrid, that means half Earthling, half Saiyan, to appear in the series. He is named after Goku's adoptive grandfather, Gohan. But unlike his father, Gohan lacks a passion for fighting and prefers to do so only when he needs to defend his loved ones. Nevertheless, Gohan fights alongside the Z Fighters in the defense of Earth for much of his life, but he eventually settles down with a family at the end of Dragon Ball Z, opting for the life of a scholar instead. Now, it appears in Dragon Ball Super that the Gohan we knew and loved from Z has finally come back. He has re-unlocked his ultimate form, which was ultimately the strongest unfused character in the whole of Dragon Ball Z. But for most of Super, it appears that the Gohan we knew had become basically a wimp. Obviously, he'd still kick our asses, but in general, compared to where he was at the end of Z, his decline has been rapid. Most of us are aware that Gohan doesn't have that same warrior instinct that the full-blooded Saiyans have, such as Goku and Vegeta, and he has opted for the life of a scholar instead, which has literally decreased the amount of training he does, literally concluding in his decline. But as said earlier, when the need arises to save his family, Gohan usually comes back with a bang. We saw him duke it out on planet Namek and basically become incredibly strong for what was just a kid. And in the Cell Saga, we see one of the most awesome moments in all the Dragon Ball franchise when he explodes and becomes the first Super Saiyan 2 and ultimately defeats Cell. And then the Elder Kai unlocks all Gohan's potential in the Buu Saga and we see him decimate Super Buu. Unfortunately, since then we saw him get bodied by Beerus, though that is to be expected. But then he got absolutely murked by Final Form Frieza in the ROF saga for him to not even participate in the God of Destruction tournament and then not even be of use when Trunks, Goku and Vegeta went off to fight Goku Black. But after about 6 hours training with Piccolo, Gohan seems to have refound his ultimate form, and we get to see a demonstration of Gohan's newfound power when he faces off against his father in a sparring match. Basically, in that fight, he gets one-shotted by a Goku Blue Kaioken, and we don't really know how much amped up that Kaioken is, so it's safe to say Gohan isn't as strong as a Kaioken Goku. But he is capable of trading blows with a Goku Blue. Now, whilst this scene was particularly short and not very telling, I do believe it was the intention of the writers and the animators to show that Gohan was now around that kind of power level. I'm not saying he could defeat Goku Blue, but he is capable of competing with a Goku Blue, whether that is a low-ball Goku Blue or a regular Goku Blue, that is still to be determined. Now, even though more evidence would be needed, I don't think that Ultimate Gohan could defeat Goku Blue. I do get the sense that Goku Blue was holding back a bit of power. But even though that scene was extremely short and the gravity of the situation wasn't quite there, the fact that he could trade those blows with Goku at that level reminds me eerily of future Trunks vs Goku Black in his Rose form. Now, we also see Ultimate Gohan take on Super Saiyan 2 Goku. And in that fight, Goku manages to land blows on Gohan, which this must be taken into account. I believe in that fight, the early stages of that fight was Goku just outsmarting Gohan in a battle. Goku is a fighting genius after all, and Gohan does take his eyes off the prize. Kind of like his father, as Piccolo stated in episode 88. Goku blinded Gohan and then instant transmission behind him and landed a few blows, but once Gohan got hold of the situation, Gohan kind of started to dominate that fight and was constantly screaming for his father to take the fight seriously, and then Goku eventually obliges, and that is when the trading of blows happen. Now, in terms of a barometer for Gohan's power here, we have to use Goku Blue, and the last time we saw Goku Blue fight Goku Black, Goku Blue kind of got decimated. He got stabbed, and Goku was even enraged at this point. But since then, Goku has done a bit of training. I mean, he's trained with Whis, he's trained with Krillin, he's even had a lot of sparring matches to hone his abilities and gain even more control over his ki. So I believe it's a very similar situation to the future Trunks mentioned earlier, where he's capable of competing with these god tier characters, but he doesn't have enough power to take them out. Now, like I said before, the scene with Gohan vs Goku wasn't very telling. It was very short, whereas the Future Trunks vs Goku Black was quite a drawn-out battle that had an enormous amount of gravity to the situation. Now, the ultimate form itself is a largely unexplained form. It's basically just all his potential unlocked, but the potential of that unlocked potential is very ambiguous. So the power hack Gohan has received with this ultimate form doesn't particularly contradict anything. After all, it is a form that was unlocked by a god of creation. And because it doesn't rely on transformations, it doesn't suffer the stamina problems that the regular Super Saiyan transformations cause. Now, an interesting tidbit that could be considered for this fight is that Gohan could be capable of stacking Super Saiyan on top of his ultimate form. When fighting Goku after transforming into his ultimate form, Goku asks why he doesn't transform into his Super Saiyan state, and Gohan tells him that he wants to choose a different method, which suggests he can stack Super Saiyan on top, but he doesn't want to, probably because of the ki drainage issues, which is probably the more intelligent path to choose going forward. But if needed, he could amp up his power quite a bit. But as we haven't seen the results of him doing this method yet, I'm not going to be considering it for this battle. I will only be going off of fiats that we've seen so far in the series. Now, as said before, Gohan only fights when pushed. He isn't a warrior, but he has had some excellent martial arts training throughout the years. He has been trained by the likes of Goku, Piccolo, Krillin and the Supreme Kai. And whilst not quite a martial arts genius like his father, Gohan is a scholar, so he can definitely conjure up an intelligent strategy providing he puts his mind to it. He also has an arsenal of attacks inspired by his father Goku as well as Piccolo. He knows the Masenko, the Kamehameha, and even the Special Beam Cannon. All devastating moves if you were to be on the receiving end of them. So, that is Ultimate Gohan. But who wins this fight in the Battle of the Saiyan Sons? So once again, here are the 5 categories that I'll be comparing these two on, and they are on your screen right now. So, power level. Who takes power level out of Ultimate Gohan and Rage Trunks? So, as I said earlier, I think both situations that I mentioned in this video are very comparable. However, because the scene of Goku vs Gohan was very short and very untelling, I believe that Goku was holding back quite a significant amount of power. Whereas against Goku Black, Future Trunks was doing just as well, if not better, than Goku and Vegeta did in their initial fights versus Goku Black. So even lowballing Trunks, I'd put him at mid Super Saiyan Blue Goku level to possibly equaling Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Whereas I'd put Ultimate Gohan at low Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So in terms of raw power level, Rage Trunks takes this one. However, one thing I will note is that the Ultimate form doesn't have a major stamina decrease, whereas the Super Saiyan transformations do tend to. And even though we have no official confirmation on whether the Rage form suffers from the same ki drainage, it does appear to be a Super Saiyan transformation of some sort, so it is highly likely. So Trunks takes this one, but even though there is a difference, I don't think there is too big of a difference to make it a shit stomp. Now, in terms of combat skills, this is a really close one. On one hand, we have Gohan, who has had exceptional teachers in the past, including Piccolo and his father Goku, whereas Trunks has had future Gohan, who, you have to admit, despite being a badass, hasn't had the training that the present Gohan has had. Trunks has also been trained by his father Vegeta as well as the Supreme Kai. So Gohan, for me, has had the slightly better training throughout his life. However, Trunks appears to be a master with a sword. Now, I don't know who trained Trunks to do this. And remember, guys, the movies aren't canon to the Dragon Ball Super series, so it wasn't Tapion. However, you could also argue that Gohan has trained with the Z-Sword. So, Gohan takes this category. He has slightly better training experience, which edges Trunks out on this one. Now, in terms of intelligence, Trunks doesn't particularly seem stupid by any means. In fact, he seems quite clever. He's very polite and very cautious. But by no means is he portrayed by the series to be incredibly intelligent, whereas Gohan is. I'd say the pair are quite evenly matched in terms of experience in fighting. But the fact that Goku would choose Gohan as team leader for Universe 7 in the Tournament of Power speaks volumes, considering that team also has the likes of Piccolo, Roshi, Tien, coupled with the fact he is a scholar, so the intelligence category goes to Gohan. Now, special techniques. This one is pretty obvious. Gohan has some cool moves. They are inspired by Piccolo and his father Goku, but he can't just learn moves on a whim as Trunks does. Trunks' arsenal of attacks is just ridiculous. He has such a large moveset, he literally takes this category with relative ease. Now, in terms of mentality, this is an interesting one because it's a one-on-one fight with any outside help. Trunks' warrior spirit wins in this category. Now, if this was a different scenario and Gohan was fighting for his family, I would give this to Gohan. But without that extra impetus to fight for his family and literally his back-to-the-wall spirit where he usually excels and ascends, I don't think that he has enough mental fortitude to get the job done and finish the job off. Now, Trunks is much closer to his father and Goku in terms of the warrior spirit that the Saiyans possess, and I don't think Trunks would struggle quite as much with the final blow. Now, this is a death battle, so you have to take out of the equation the fact that future Trunks' mentor was future Gohan and he misses him dearly. So the mentality factor goes to future Trunks, especially when you take into consideration the hard life that Trunks has actually had. So, who wins this fight? Well, I'm going to give this fight to Rage Future Trunks. The reason being is basically that kind of mentality Gohan has about him. He isn't a murderer. He was pushed to kill Super Perfect Cell and even had the help of the rest of the Z Warriors. Future Trunks has shown a merciless streak when dicing up Frieza and King Cold, blasting Imperfect Cell into oblivion, and then chopping up Merge Zamasu. Gohan will draw the fight out due to his lack of stamina drainage, as well as his experience in combat being slightly better than Trunks. I mean, that's even debatable, but as well as his strategical knowledge, he's very smart. But ultimately, Gohan's power disadvantage to Trunks is going to tell, and Trunks' moveset is going to cause a lot of damage, continuously weakening Gohan's resolve. And that is why I give this fight to Rage Future Trunks. Anyway guys, I want to know what you think. Do you agree with my assessment? Would Future Trunks win, or do you believe that Ultimate Gohan would find a way to get the win? Have I missed something? Let me know in the comments section what your thoughts are. I love to read your thoughts. If you like my videos guys, make sure you smash that like button with a big bang attack. If this video gets 100 likes, I will make a video on Goku Black versus the legendary assassin of Universe 6, Hit. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you subscribe. I've got a library full of great content with much more great ideas coming your way, including a video of why Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta could beat Super Saiyan God Goku. And one last final message. If you stay calm in any vexing situation, you will never, ever become a Super Saiyan. Hello guys, punch that face in the top left corner to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will put links to them in the information section, as well as check out some of these videos from my library. Peace, love and key guys.